I think it's time for transportation talk. Oh my gosh, Jason, I've been so distracted this morning, running late, running from one thing to the other. I think today is a great day to talk about distracted driving. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Let's talk about distracted driving. Let's go to it now. Hey, Jason, I've got myself a little bit more settled in, focused. I'm ready. It's Friday. Let's talk transportation talk.
Woo! Hey, Kathy, I'm so glad that you are doing a little better now. That's fun. We are going to have a wonderful Friday, aren't we? Excited to be here with you as always. Just a wonderful time to have just this opportunity to talk about some of the coolest things that we get to talk about, transportation.
Yes, transportation. And since April has a lot of things going on, and one of them is Distracted Driver Awareness Month, we figured this is a great opportunity to talk about distracted driving because, you know, we always think it's the other guy that's driving distracted, right?
Yeah, it's always somebody else. It's never me. I'm a perfect driver, right? I mean, my family, they really know how to drive, but that guy over there or that gal over there, I'm telling you, don't get around them because they're going to bump bumpers with you.
And distracted driving is only when you're driving with your phone in your hand, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Only with your phone. There's no other items. There are no other thoughts in your mind that can produce a distracted driver. I just, it's amazing. We're going to have a lot of fun in today's show. I can tell.
Yes. Yeah. So we were kind of being ridiculous about the fact that distracted driving is only driving with your phone in your hand. So what are some of the other examples of distracted driving? Because really, there are lots. Please, folks, it isn't, you are not an angel. You don't have the halo over your head if you put your phone away, which you should. But there's also other distractions. What are some of the other distractions, Jason?
Oh, I got to tell you, Kathy, you know, researching this, so a lot of ways that I research is I take what I personally know about a subject, and then I research it and I find where my deficiencies are. And usually I can say, you know, hey, maybe I kind of knew a little bit. In this case, I'm just so built in and so used to driving and so used to not multitasking, which I want to say multitasking, but I know multitasking is not,
it's not a thing.
How it's not a thing. It really
isn't a thing.
Oh my gosh, it's not a thing. But there are three types of distracted driving. I guess you can call them headlines or whatever of distracted driving. But, you know, the first one, Kathy, is visual. I mean, honestly, you know, you can't take your eyes off the road. You can't do that. Okay. You got to be driving down the road and you have to have your eyes focused on what's in front of you, what's in your peripheral. Those are things that you have to be. And I'd also like to say, can't take your ears off the road either. I think all of our senses are really important when it comes to driving. But in this case, we're kind of talking more visual than anything. The other one is manual. What does that mean? Is that a manual stick shift or anything? No. Manual means taking your hands off the wheel. Okay. You know, your position currently out here driving like this, right? And you take one hand off the wheel. Okay. All right. There's a lot of people, we all know, everyone, including myself, drives with one hand, but I've taken one hand off the wheel. That usually gives it opportunity to do other things that it's not supposed to be doing, right?
Pick up my drink.
Yeah,
eat some
exactly.
Food.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And then all of a sudden there are some people who tend to, they don't realize it, but they let go of the wheel, maybe to shift hands, maybe to put both hands up, maybe to just grab something off of the opposite side and hand it over to the other hand or whatever.
Or take a jacket off.
Or take a jacket, or even take a jacket off. Yes, right? I have seen some pretty crazy things. And I used to drive back and forth to Eugene from Astoria several times a month. And I would see some absolute crazy drivers going on. But anyhow, yes, taking your hands off the wheel, even for a few seconds, that's bad. So that's manual. Okay, taking your hands off the wheel. And then, of course, you know, the other step is cognitive. It's we have to understand cognitive means our brain, right? It's our brain processing, that old noodle that's up there processing our daily things. We take our mind off driving. I'm going to be honest here right now and say that I don't think about driving most of the time. I just don't.
So often when you're driving that same route every
Yep.
day at the same time,
Yeah.
and you're doing the same thing, really your brain kind of shuts off and you stop
Yeah.
paying attention to the
Yep.
actual action of driving. And really that can be disastrous in so many ways.
Yeah.
So, we kind of have to poke ourselves every once in a while to remind ourselves, hey, you're actually doing something that could have a huge impact on your own and somebody else's life if you're not paying attention.
I'll tell you a really quick story. So this morning on my way in, I'm thinking about what to say on the show. I'm thinking about how I'm going to say things, what we're going to do, and so forth. And I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Inception before, but in that deal, there was a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. I felt like I was in a thought within a thought within a thought within a thought, and realized that I was thinking about literally talking about what I'm talking about right now regarding cognitive distracted driving while I was driving, distracted cognitively. So it was crazy.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
But Kathy, I was wondering, do you happen to maybe have a little more of a definitive or able to define maybe a little more of what distracted driving is, what it's more commonly referred to, maybe at the National Highway Transportation Safety Board, maybe at ODOT? Do you have what is it? What is distracted driving exactly?
Well, it's distracted driving is when you're doing any activity that is diverting your attention from driving. And so really, that's a really big concept, which means you have to stay focused on the action of driving and all of the things that takes. That already takes lots of different mental and physical faculties to complete successfully. So you really have to stay focused on that one action.
Yeah, it's just amazing all the things that do take our attention away from driving and really opening the door to the dangers that presents. One of them, though, chiefly, I would say, texting really is the most alarming distraction that I see out there right now. Sending a text while you're driving, not only is it illegal, it is incredibly dangerous, even if it only takes you a second. If it takes you a microsecond, it still is incredibly dangerous. Kathy, did you know this? I got a very interesting stat for you. Okay, it involves football, okay, which is really cool. If you text and take your eyes off the road to make that text for 5 seconds, which is only an average, it's amazing that some people take longer. But however, you take 5 seconds and you tap out a text to a friend of yours or whatever, you are literally driving, if you're going at 55 miles an hour, a football field length with your eyes closed. I don't know about you.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even walk 5 feet with my eyes closed without veering off at least 1.5 feet. Right.
I mean, it's incredible to think that, to put it into those kinds of visual terms, that you're driving a football field's length with your eyes closed. Think of all of the things that could happen. So, we've all heard all through our lives, all of the warnings about not driving intoxicated because of the dangers involved and the risks. And what you can do, how that puts other lives at risk. So I've recently heard a new term, which I think is a really good one that people need to kind of click into with keeping in mind the football field and driving with your eyes closed. Intoxicated. So put that phone away so that you are not intoxicated.
Well, I really like that, intoxicated. There is a lot of that out there, and it is a silent killer, and it's not seen as often as what maybe driving under the influence of alcohol is concerned. I'll tell you what, Kathy, I believe you cannot safely drive unless the task of driving, not texting, not doing anything else in the car, but only driving. You cannot safely drive unless you have full attention on that task.
Absolutely. I think that that's really true. And Jason, I think that we have done a little bit of behind the scenes work to create some video footage for you to watch about some tips to help yourself stay focused and why it's so important. Let's give it a look.
What does it mean to drive focused? Don't forget to click in. Adjust that mirror. Put that phone away. Make sure your vehicle is running well. Relax and get focused. Driving focused and not distracted can save lives. So keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel, and your mind on driving safely.
I'm sure we all drive distracted at one time or another. What's the harm in calling a friend or a family member after work? I have plenty of time while I'm on my way home. How about sending a quick text while in traffic? I'm at a stop sign right now. There's no one around. So what's the harm in sending a text message or responding to an email while I'm stopped? We think we can multitask while driving, but that just simply is not the case. Let's test the theory out right now, just to see if it's safe to send a text message while driving. I won't be driving for this test, but here goes. Try tapping out a text while counting to 10. 1, 2, 3, I just don't think I can do it. God, that's just not possible. No matter how many times I tried, it just wasn't possible to do it as I was focusing on what I wanted to text rather than driving. I couldn't do both.
Statistics provided by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show that distracted driving contributes to 9% of all fatal car crashes, which leads to around 3,000 deaths and 400,000 injuries every year.
What about texting at a stop sign or at a stoplight? I could send out a text or even check an email while I'm stopped, right? I think I see a pattern starting to form right now. Let's test out this theory. Time to start texting. Stop. Time to start driving. I see it. I wasn't completely focused on driving the car after sending a text message, and that's not a good idea. Research has found that mental distractions can linger for as long as 27 seconds, even after you have put away the device that was distracting you. Next time you get into your car, make it a practice to put your phone away. This helps keep myself and others around me safe while driving. If you find that you have to make an emergency call, it's best to find a safe place to pull over and make the call. After the call, make sure you give yourself enough time to refocus on being safe while driving. These are just a few examples of driving while being distracted, and how doing so can cause unintended consequences. There are other distractions that can take your attention while driving too, and also some good practices to keep yourself focused. 99% of drivers say their phones are the source of their top 3 distractions while driving. Try committing to driving phone-free. If you do drive with phones in the car, enable Do Not Disturb. 52% of adult drivers admit to being tempted to check texts while driving. Keep your fur babies and other passengers safe, not entertained. 13% of all drivers admit to playing with pets while driving. And stop multitasking. I think this video proved there is no such thing as multitasking while driving, and attempting to do so is not the way to go. Be safe out there. Don't be distracted. That's a good boy, Nash.
Well, Kathy, I'm telling you, we just came out of some amazing videos. A quick tip on how to stay focused. I mean, crying out loud, that was a pretty cool video there. And then we got a chance to hear you talk about distracted driving and some of the things you showed us, some things that you're not supposed to do. And I really appreciate that. That was a really good opportunity. We had a lot of fun filming it. It was fun. It was exciting. If a little rainy, of course.
Yes,
Actually,
and in
it
case
snowed.
anybody's wondering, we did it in a controlled environment. So
We
let's
did.
not get worried about,
Yes.
us showing examples of distracted driving
That's
in a
right.
risky situation. We did it in a controlled
did.
environment. Don't try this at home.
Do not try that at home. Yes, exactly. And it was a whole lot of fun, but there were some stats that were talked about in there. There were other really good items, to remind people on, Kathy. And in this segment, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about statistics. And that's not usually the funnest thing to talk about for
No.
anything. But in this case, it's important because we need to recognize, like you said, right off the top in the video, is that right around 3,000 people are killed almost every year. And spiked in 2015, that was much higher than that, but usually it averages right around 3,000 deaths per year. That's insane for distracted driving. That's unbelievable.
Well, and that statistic of the 400,000 people, more than 400,000 people injured
Yeah,
in distracted driving accidents in 2019. That's a large number.
it
In
is.
2019, those statistics are already old, and what we're seeing now is that they're reporting another spike, and that's
Yes.
a thing we really, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this show is to kind of hammer home how important it is to stay focused, because more than 1 in 5 people are dying as a result of distracted driving incidents.
Yeah, it is. It's just crazy to think, all those people who are injured that are being killed. These, yes, numbers are from 2019, and you're right. I believe that the numbers are only going to go higher when the new data comes out and so forth. But I'll tell you what, the people who die, not only in the vehicles, but the people who die outside of the vehicle is incredibly common. And I couldn't believe it when I realized, oh my gosh, it's not just the driver. It's people. 1 in 5 people died in the distracted driving accidents that were not in the car, Kathy. They weren't
Right.
in the vehicle. They weren't anywhere around it. In fact, there are many stories that I can't share on here. There's too many, where people are well off of the beaten path or the roadway or something, and a distracted driver, no matter what distracted that driver, gets off of the road and hurts somebody. And that's just, it's, to me, it shouldn't happen. It just should not happen, not good.
Right. And so a survey of US high school students in 2019 found that 39%, that's almost half
Yeah.
of high school students who drove in the past 30 days, texted or emailed while they were driving, at least on one of those days. And I'm pretty sure that it's a lot more than one of those days. And so it's really important that we get this message home about what
Yes.
distracted driving is and the harm it can cause. And so,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, Kathy, when I was researching this show, I spoke with my family a bit. I have a daughter in my family who's just about ready to get her learner's permit. And so we were very, very focused on trying to bring that message to them. And to be honest with you, they had no clue, right? Of course, they're younger. And even my wife, though, driving all her life and so forth, really didn't have a clue. She's like to think she's a good driver, but it's just shocking when you hear these numbers and statistics and realize that high school drivers, like you said, 39% of them, drove in the past 30 days and texted and emailed. I find that completely unbelievable is the emailing part. I mean, texting is really hard to do in of by itself, but you look at emails. I mean, you have to read an email before you have to read and understand the email and then turn right around and send an email back. That's a lot of work to do for anyone. Hey, especially for those of us who have brains that don't multitask. I mean, I think that's everyone, right? Pretty much that we don't multitask. So no, you can't check that text or email. So you're right. We got to drive that home. We have to take that to people that we love, to our friends, to our neighborhood, and to like what we're doing right now, everyone that we're listening to. And we'll talk about that a little later, but I don't know, but students who texted and email doing that. Shame on you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop it. If you're doing it now, stop it. I forgive you, but just stop it. Don't get yourself into an accident, please.
Right. And texting is only one of the symptoms. There's other ways. And when the more tired you are, the more likely you are not to pay attention to all of the other things that you shouldn't do. And then your brain can't handle paying attention and focusing. And so important that not only do you not use devices, but that you make sure that you're getting the rest that you need so that you're alert and aware and you can follow all of the other instructions.
Yep. Don't drive tired. We're going to watch a video right now and come back on the other side and talk about it.
Cramming for that morning test you forgot about? Haven't figured out the tablet has crashed yet? So tired that you're waiting for the clay sculpture to talk to you? Sleep, glorious sleep, helps the noggin recharge and stay healthy. Want to stave off a cold? Get some sleep. Your body will thank you and be fresh enough to remind you that without enough sleep, the old upper story can't function properly. Remember, as you shuffle out of your room wearing your mom's shoe on your left foot and your dad's slipper that he's been looking for since the last ice age on the right, just making coffee in the morning is a challenge. Hey sleepyhead, you need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep to function properly. Good thing you lost your keys because you're way too tired to drive. Do the smart thing. Don't drive while fatigued.
Wow, Jason, what a great video reminder. One of those things that I frequently forget, and I know that mornings, sunrise, sunsets, when the sun is making its changes in the sky are some of my hardest times. And even when I don't think I'm tired, that's when I see how tired I really am and how much energy I have to put into staying focused. So such a great reminder.
Kathy, that was based on a true story, just so you know. And the actress behind it, it wasn't method acting. She was really, really tired last night. So it was perfect. When I got home and I said, hey, let's do this recording. Oh, you look great. She goes, but Dad, I'm tired. Oh, perfect. Even better. Yeah.
Well, and what a perfect way to get your family in on the discussion.
Right.
And because, the change makers out there, the people really that we're relying on to make change in the world are those people that are in high school right now. Those
That's
people
right.
that are that age, because they really are the influencers.
Yes.
Seriously.
No, they are definitely. And, even though I had to direct her quite frequently and so forth, it took forever to get the coffee thing squared away. However, though, throughout the time, it gave me opportunities like, who hasn't had, right, a teenager that you have to describe something to 3 or 4 different times because maybe they're not paying attention, which was actually perfect, for the mood of the video we're creating. But really, I explained to her, I'm like, come on, we have to get this out. Why am we getting this out? Why am I doing this? Why are, Kathy and I, why is Transportation Talk spending the time to do this? Well, it's because, we want to get involved. And this is one of the ways to get involved is to produce something like this. And you're right. That did give me an excellent opportunity to be able to speak with my family about it. And to ultimately, not only just speak to my family and get the details down to get their attention. It's like, you wouldn't believe what I had to go through last night. Get off of your phone, stop reading the book. Let's pay attention to dear old Dad for at least 5 seconds out of the night. Okay. And they did. And we were able to talk about this, episode of distracted driving. But I'll tell you what, knowing that I was talking to my teenage daughter and my other soon to be teenage daughter, it clued and dawned on me. I had read it before, but teenagers are actually some of the best ways. You mentioned it earlier about influencers, but they are one of the best, if not the best way to spread the word about whatever it is they want to spread, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's how social media took off. It wasn't because of us old people talking about it. Might be now some of them, but
yes,
it was the teenagers that really made social media and those kinds of things take off. And so, that is one of the best ways to make change stick. And so what the message that we're trying to get across is being aware of the dangers of distracted driving. And
Yes.
so if you sit down with your family, you know, multi-person household,
Sure.
friends, families, neighbors, and you come up with a way to make a pledge. Make a
Right.
pledge. Use your
Yeah,
tools.
there you go. Do it.
Make a pledge to not drive distracted. And one of the best ways is to pledge to park your phone. And so if you do a little bit of just poking around the internet and poke in, you know, type in park your phone pledge, you should come up with something, or you can just write one up yourself and make
Sweet.
that actual written pledge to each other to park your phone while you're driving.
You know, I doing the video, you wouldn't believe how many takes I had to take just to get my phone in the center console a couple of times. But yeah, you know, really, you know, park your phone. And I am going to immediately, right after we're done doing this, I'm going to give that a shot and see if I can't find that on the internet as well. But I'll tell you, you know, as much as we like to think that what we're doing, Kathy, getting the message out this way and so forth. And if anybody saw in the video too, there was a little icon that I put down there. I think it's really important when we do these bigger videos and stuff. There was a megaphone down there because, you know, I want to get that word out, right? We want that that megaphone type atmosphere of getting the message out. But it really, when it comes down to, I'm speaking to parents right now, you know, hey, you need to lead by example. I don't do a good job of that. I'm going to be right up and say it, you know, as I'm taking my family running places and stuff. I'm either yelling at the dog, yelling at the kids, or yelling at the radio. And, you know, that is distracted driving. And I'm showing that to them, right? I'm showing that to them. And that's not good, because I know my kids, they learn a lot from me, even if I'm not attempting to teach them. They're learning. And so when I'm distracted driving, I'm effectively showing them how to do that.
Yes, exactly. And so we lead by example, and people follow what you do and not necessarily just what you say. So if your actions aren't showing the same thing as your words are, then you become, you know, people get mixed messages. And so that's why taking those pledges together and making those promises together to not drive distracted makes it a team effort when you're all doing the same thing. And so if your family, if you sit down and you take a park your phone pledge to each other, then, you know, if you get in the car and you don't park your phone, somebody in the family in the car is going to call you out.
That's true. And that's the best way to go.
Call you out about other distractions, because you're now all on the same page.
Yep. Accountability partners. I think that's a great idea, Kathy. And, you know, it's important for those partners, right, to speak up. They need to take those opportunities. If they see that you're doing something, to speak about your distracted driving. And quite frankly, I have an idea that my daughters now are going to say, Dad, you know, distracted driving, and they're going to pull up some stat and they're going to tell me as I'm driving. So there's consequences out there, and we need to be able to change that. You know, we need to be able to change that by being those good role models and allowing people to speak up and to, you know, tell you that you're distracted.
And this is a great opportunity to share those types of tips and things that you did with your family on social media. You know, hashtag something, hashtag park your phone, hashtag distracted driver, hashtag don't just be a distracted driver.
Hey,
you know,
share this
all
video.
of those things. Share this video and have a conversation with your family about, you know, what you learned. Did you know that texting was the equivalent to driving a football field with your eyes closed? I mean,
I sure did.
That's a really good visualization. So well,
Kathy, I think it's important that the people go out and research themselves, go to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, and the CDC can give you some pretty good tips and really good infographics on how to do some of the things we're asking you to do.
Nash, is it time to go for a walk? Getting out and walking every day is not only good exercise, it helps you to get to know your neighborhood. Walking is a form of transportation, so you can get to where you want to go to
by using your feet. If you have a pet, taking your pet out for a walk is a great way to get out and getting some exercise. If you're out for a walk, always good to pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure that if you're getting ready to cross the road, you look both directions. When planning a walk, make sure you look at a map or you go through your neighborhood, because sometimes there are off-road paths that you can take. If you're walking a pet, make sure to obey all the leash laws.
If you're lucky on your walk, you might actually even get to see some wildlife.
Oh wow, Kathy, that has been a great show. I've had so much fun talking to you. All right, we've talked about a very tough topic, but we've understood that visual, manual, and cognitive distracted driving is real. We've talked about the impacts that those have on not only us but those around us. And I tell you what, we've also talked about what we can do to help us stay focused. What can we do? What can we do to make sure that this is not something that hurts someone down the road?
Yes, and exactly. People might be wondering, what does walking have to do with it all? Well, walking is a great way of clearing your head. It's not just a form of transportation, but it's a really great way to clear your head, give yourself some mental space, refocus, get some exercise. All of those things help your brain be sharper and you be better prepared to drive focused and stay safe. Well, Jason, here we are again at the end of our show, and what a great show it's been. It's really been fun. We've hit some really important topics.
Yes,
and,
we have.
It's been another great week.
A great week, Kathy. Lots of great information, and it went whoosh really fast past us. And look forward to having a great weekend. Hopefully, the weather's pretty good.
Yeah, who knows what we'll get. Started out the week with sunshine and snow.
Yep.
Who gets snow in the middle of April?
I don't know. It was pretty interesting to see that. But I got a lawn to mow here, and I'm hoping that I can get that done this weekend. So.
Yeah, lots of projects out there. People get those things done over the weekend so that you can be focused when Monday comes and you can get to work and get around safely.
Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you for watching Transportation Talk, and definitely thank you very much for listening to us as we talk about distracted driving. Take care, everybody.
Like and share.